Cryptozoology is, by its very nature, elusive. Thus, we cannot say that we are exactly bringing you the facts, but we will do our best to help you see these mythical legends as we do. So sit back, relax, and wait. What's that behind you? Never mind. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome back to Cryptids on Cryptids. I'm Martin.
And I'm Nadia.
You have a poem for us.
I do. I thought it really set the stage for our cryptid this week. And
Okay.
it's Robert Burns' poem, Address to the Devil. And it goes like
Okay.
this. When throes dissolve the snowy horde and float the jingling icy board, then water kelpies haunt the ford by your direction, and nighted travelers are allured to their destruction.
Ooh,
Dun dun dun!
dramatic.
Thank
Um,
you.
so this is a Scottish poem. I can tell by the way it's written. Like Scottish people write things weird.
Apparently, he's a beloved Scottish poet.
Yeah. No, I like love it. It's very cool because you can like see like snowy is written snowy
Yeah,
is how you would but like in a Scottish accent it's like the same, you know? It's cool.
Marty, before we started this podcast, read it in a Scottish accent. I think you should do it again.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Okay. When those dissolve the snowy horde and float the jingling icy board, then water kelpies haunt the fjord by your direction, and nighted travellers are allured to their destruction.
That is impressive. Like,
Thank you.
listeners can't see my face, but I was actually, like, my Scottish accent is so horrible. Like, I didn't even attempt.
Yeah, I think I explained to you that the reason I did it was because I have a D&D character who was loosely based off of Brynjolf from Skyrim, who's Scottish. Um, so that's why I've worked on that accent a little bit.
Nerd. I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, that's fair. We are doing a cryptids podcast, so like you're kind
Yeah.
of in the same boat, but
No, I'm here by happenstance just to make you seem cooler.
oh, okay. Well,
That's my
thank
only
you.
role. That's actually in my job description.
Yeah, I pay you to make me look cooler, just by association.
You know, like eye candy, I'm ear candy. You know, like when you
Oh,
put candy in your ears?
I do that all the time,
Okay,
actually.
but to be fair, you don't
Um,
put candy in your eyes either.
yeah, that's true. I do, Tootsie Pops, great. Like
Ugh,
you just use it as like a little earplug.
ugh. Oh, I thought you were gonna say put it in your eye.
No, but like earplugs for Tootsie Roll, like yeah, they're like perfect size, shape.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, they're malleable like clay.
The thing I don't, the only thing that took me off the vibes of this poem, put me off, is
Hmm.
jingling, like N apostrophe, like not jingling, it's jingling. Like something about that is a bit too Christmassy for me. Jingling too.
Jingling. I think honestly, it's just like association. You
Yeah.
know, the only time you hear jingling is in like Jingle Bells.
Yeah, and this is saying the icy board is jingling.
Yeah, so you get that like jingling and then icy, and then it's like, oh, Christmas. But there is a line in here that I think name drops the creature that we're talking about this week, which is the Kelpie.
The Kelpies! Yeah!
Okay.
Sorry, that came out of
Hype
me.
for
Like
Kelpies.
that was a visceral reaction. Um
So you're a fan of Kelpies, I take it.
Actually, yeah, I did not know what they were. I mean, obviously I knew everything about cryptids before coming on this podcast, and therefore I did know. But hypothetically, if
Hmm.
I didn't, I thought they were like,
Well, our audience and I don't, so
I thought it was like, okay, what do you think when you think Kelpie?
um, like kelp,
Yeah,
like the plant.
I thought like, I was imagining like a little fish or like a water nymph, like Magikarp if
Mm.
it was hot.
Magikarp if it was hot, so Gyarados.
Yeah. Um, but this is actually a supernatural water horse.
It's a horse?
Yeah, or as some might say, a nightmare.
It's not really a nightmare, is it?
The
Off of
poem we
that.
just read calls it the devil.
Well, it's by the devil's direction that these things operate, I guess.
No, like
According
they
to,
actually think it might be Satan,
oh, it might be Satan.
but aren't we all?
We all got a little bit of the devil in us. In
um,
my case, it's just his lettuce. Sorry, I don't know if you know that term, the
I
devil's
do know,
lettuce.
little disco
Okay.
lettuce. So I'm gonna ignore that.
So yeah, tell me about the Kelpie. What is so it's a water horse.
Yeah.
What is it like? Is it a horse made out of water? What's this thing look
No,
like?
so by water horse, it just lives in the water. It
Okay, so
resides
it's just a
there.
regular horse that lives in the water.
No, wrong.
No,
So it appears like a gray or white horse, so pretty little thing or big thing, but it's always wet.
always just sopping wet. Sorry, not that way.
I'm trying to say PG, but me too. No,
For
I'm
the
kidding.
horse?
I'm kidding. Check this
You
out,
did
Marty, in
call
the
it a pretty
future.
little thing.
Ew, ew. Or a big little thing, if you know what I mean. Um, anyways, I'm done.
So what's up with this wet ass horse? This whack, if you will.
Same joke. Anyways, so it looks like a horse and it smells like a horse, but its mane and its tail are always dripping wet, like sopping.
Okay. So it's just like a horse that got out of the shower.
Yeah, and so that's how you can identify it. And sometimes it has like little water weeds stuck in its hair.
Like kelp?
I could not say that sentence. Yeah,
Yeah, like kelp. In its hair, in its mane.
but actually the word kelpie comes from the Gaelic word cow peach or colt patch, cow peach, which means
Hmm.
colt.
Oh, it just means colt?
So yeah, like horse.
Like a baby horse.
Yeah, or it means heifer. Um,
What
so
does
it's a,
heifer mean?
I think a heifer is a cow.
Oh, okay.
Let me look. Yeah, okay. I looked up images. So, but it doesn't always appear as a horse. Sometimes it can transform into a beautiful man or woman.
Oh,
But some say that they keep their hooves, which is why there's like this association with Satan, because Satan, I think, had hooves.
or Little Wayne.
Lil Wayne has hooves?
I yeah. Um it's a whole
I want
thing.
you all to know that you, Marty, or no, you're a millennial and I'm Gen Z, and I don't know who Lil Wayne is.
Oh, that's there's like 2 years difference between us.
It's like 4 years.
4 years difference? Oh my god. I'm old as fuck.
You are. For the record, Marty is 67 years old.
Yeah. I'm actually a boomer.
Yeah. Okay, Lil Wayne. I'm sorry if
So
somebody's really
yeah,
angry. I
Lil
don't know who that
Wayne
is.
has hooves. Just look it up. Um, there's a picture of him with socks on in a jacuzzi, and it looked like he had hooves in it. It was like a whole internet thing from like 2014.
I'm looking at pictures. I don't see anything.
Just look up Lil Wayne hooves.
Oh, okay. Oh, poor guy.
Poor guy.
Yeah, I see the pictures now. I mean,
Yeah, it looks like he's got hooves.
why was he wearing socks in the jacuzzi?
I don't know, but it's kind of badass.
I mean, I guess if you own a jacuzzi and you can wear socks, like, who are we, poor peasants, to insult you?
Yeah, it's powerful. So the Kelpie can look like Lil Wayne. We covered
Yeah,
that.
only Lil Wayne.
Sometimes.
So it's basically a shape-shifting water horse.
That's cool. I wonder if it has like a cool. I was gonna say animation, but this is like real life,
So
like
like
a
a
little
magic
water
girl
animation.
Oh, I was thinking
Yeah,
magic
like
girl transformation.
no, exactly right. Like a little water magic girl transformation.
Like you're just walking across the coast in the lakes of Scotland and you just hear sailor horse and like gold appears everywhere and like flower petals,
Oh well, it'd be water themed, so it'd be like little shimmering water droplets.
water lilies,
Mm-hmm.
kelp.
Kelp.
But the thing I'm not understanding is that so it's saying it can transform into a beautiful man or a woman, but I'm just imagining it's like late night Scotland. You're walking around, you're like, oh fuck, there's a horse in the water, and then suddenly Bella Hadid,
Oh
like,
shit! I'm so sorry, ma'am. I thought you were a horse for a
yeah,
minute.
right. Like your ass was like really long, like for a second there.
Like, I don't know. I just saw you from like across the way, and I was like, "Is that a horse?" But no.
I'm a city, like,
Sorry,
are
my
those
bad. I
hooves?
guess. Um, yeah. What kind of shoes are those? Because they kind of look like hooves.
But it also specified that it appears like a lost pony. And I don't know what makes it look lost, if you had any insights.
um, it's in their eyes. You can just see it. You know, it's like a. It's like it's very sad. Um,
Have you had a lot of intimate moments with horses?
no, but I've seen a lot of horses that were lost.
What? So you've seen the
um,
Kelpie.
no, just horses, regular horses.
Okay, how do you know?
Because I was in Ohio, 55 minutes from the closest body of water, which was a puddle.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
so it wasn't a wet horse.
no, it was a pretty dry ass horse.
Um,
A
I won't make
dah,
the joke I was
if you
gonna
will.
make. I didn't hear that.
A dah, if you will. You know? Because when it's a wet ass horse, it's like, it's
Oh my
wah.
God. Sorry. You went too
So
far
now
into the
it's
joke and
dry.
I lost you.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh,
See
poop.
that
Oh,
look in your eyes right there? That's the look in.
what's
That's
the
a look
look?
in the lost horse's eyes.
Oh, okay. So, so you're walking around Scotland and you're like Bella Hadid, but also horse that looks confused.
Mournful.
Why are you
um,
wet?
yeah. Why are you wet? So you talked about this thing is like Scotland?
Yeah.
Scotland?
So the rivers and locks, I don't know what a lock is. I know of Nessie, and I know she's in a lock, but I don't know what a lock
Okay.
is.
I'm gonna Google it because I don't know either.
Don't you love that our podcast is run by experts?
Oh, well, loch is a lake.
Oh, okay. Well, a lock.
It's just a Scottish way of saying lake.
Can you say it in a Scottish accent? A lock.
Loch.
Lock. Just sounds like a
Yeah,
croaky.
loch,
Lock.
I guess would be it.
Rivers and locks in Scotland, in
Um,
Ireland. I'm sorry.
yeah, you're getting there. No, I mean, like a good portion of our listeners are from the UK, so like let us know how our accents are bad.
Every listener is going to immediately stop listening. They're like, no.
I'm trying to drive engagement here. You know, leave a
Oh,
comment.
sorry. Oh,
Tell us how
sorry.
bad our accents are.
Download if you want us to practice. Um,
Yeah. The more you listen to this episode, the more we'll practice our accents.
Yeah.
And we'll come in next week and it'll be like, oh my god.
Are they Scottish? When I was young, I thought Scottish was a language. Sorry, we can continue.
You thought Scottish was a language?
Shh, it's okay. We passed that. We can continue.
Don't you have like a language minor or something?
No.
No. Okay.
I used to, actually, yeah. I used to have an Arabic minor,
Oh, that's cool.
and I
Yeah, you
speak
know way more languages
a
than I do,
bunch.
which is
Yeah.
one.
Don't you speak French? Parlez-vous français?
Yeah, well, it's half English and half French. Like I know a little bit of both, but not enough to qualify like I'm an expert.
For either. Honestly,
Yeah, so it totals out to one.
I will point out to listeners that there is another beloved cryptid that is found in a loch in Scotland, and that is my favorite cryptid, Nessie.
And you said this in the intro when we were doing our intro recording
Yeah.
that this was because of Twilight that Nessie's your
Shut
favorite.
up. Okay, it might
So can
also
you run
be
that?
no,
Can you run that by me?
no. I quit.
No.
Um, so also it's because I don't know many cryptids, and like it was between this and Bigfoot because I'm uneducated. And Nessie is cooler, but yes. So in Twilight, they named the kid Renesmee. Um,
Hmm.
and Jacob, the werewolf who like in a very pedophilia like in a very prison like way, um, imprints on this baby and starts calling her Nessie. And
That's
there's this
fucked up.
really funny, great scene where I've actually never seen this, but I've seen clips of this scene where Bella's like, "Your nickname's my cousin, a Loch Ness monster," and ever since then, I
Ever
was like,
since
"That's
then,
my girl."
Nessie's. Do you think that Kelpies and the Loch Ness monster like are friends, or do you think they'd be like territorial? Like, do you think there would be a horse bird fight?
I feel like, but isn't the Kelpie also a bird?
Pretty sure you already told me it was a horse.
But it can shapeshift.
That's true. Maybe it is a bird. All birds can shapeshift. This is a well-known fact.
If you're attracted to birds, then they have to allure you somehow.
I I guess so. How else would they lure birds?
Oh, I love how you took that because I was thinking in a very like horrible way. But
Oh,
it's okay. I feel like Nessie, my girl, wouldn't be territorial. I feel like she's powerful enough and confident enough that she wouldn't be territorial, but Kelpie, I think the Kelpie would be. I think the Kelpie would be right old bitch.
a right old bitch.
A
Yep.
right old bitch.
That I feel like suits a Kelpie pretty well. Um, why don't you break down for me, like, are there any sightings or cool stories about the Kelpie?
There are some great stories, but actually, we might have to take this out because I feel like we can't go into the stories until we talk about its traits. Because,
Oh, yeah. Let me know. What's the traits? What does it
yes,
do?
so the interesting thing about the Kelpie is its skin. It's adhesive. So if you
Like tape?
touch it, yeah, or glue.
Like tape.
Um, so if you touch it, you get sucked. I said suck, but you get stuck.
Hear that, guys? Go touch Kelpie. You get suck.
Ugh, ugh, ugh.
I'm gonna take it by your groan that you didn't like that.
I didn't like it at all. It's wet and it sucks.
It's it's wet and it sucks.
Ugh,
There are worse
um,
combinations.
ugh. Okay, so uncomfortable. Okay, but it drags people underwater, which I want it to do to me right now. Drowns them and then eats them.
And eats them.
Yeah, so it's not wasteful.
Do you think drowning adds like an extra layer of seasoning? Because like if you get pulled into salt water, now you've got salt like in your system.
Yeah, and like you want to soak it a little, make it the meat more tender,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think.
Like I don't think the Kelpie is cooking people down there, but like a
Yeah.
little bit of extra water flavor, and it would mellow it out, like mellow out the flavors a little bit, you know?
Have a little drink with your human.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or bird or whatever you're luring down there
Yeah, whatever you've attracted with your wet suckiness.
with your wet stick.
Oh,
Did you just gag at that?
so basically, because its skin is adhesive, you
Are
stick to
you
it.
okay?
No, because its skin is adhesive. If you touch it, you get stuck, and then it drags you.
Oh, okay. That's a pretty neat way of doing that.
I know, isn't it creative? Like who thought of that?
Like I feel like Nessie just like grabs people with its teeth.
Yeah,
But this is creative. It's like you go to pet a horse and suddenly you're underwater.
yeah. And so that's why it looks so alluring because you want to touch it, but it's a consent king, and it doesn't want you just touching it. So once you do, it drowns you.
That's you know what? I'm on the Kelpie side now.
Just because somebody is wet and they suck doesn't mean you can touch them.
That's true.
So the only way to escape is by cutting off your limb.
By cutting off your limb. Wow. That's not like cutting a section out of the Kelpie or
That's a good point. Yeah,
yeah.
what the fuck?
Why couldn't I just have like a little bit of horse meat taped to my
No,
hand forever?
because the knife would get stuck
Hmm.
because the skin is adhesive.
But is like the muscle fiber adhesive? Like if I put my knife flat on a piece of tape, it's gonna get stuck to the tape.
Yeah.
But if I stab the knife into the tape, it will go through it.
Actually, somebody did that
Oh,
with
really?
the Kelpie. Um, well, actually, it wasn't with the Kelpie. There is a similar, very similar cryptid called the Akishke.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to say that in a Scottish accent? I'm going to ask you to say everything in a Scottish accent.
How do
Your
you say
face.
it?
There's the pronunciation right there.
Akishke?
Akishke. Yeah, it's spelled like each wheeze G.
each usage.
And it's another supernatural water horse from Scotland.
I mean, they do love their water horses up there.
And it literally, Akishke literally means water horse.
Oh, okay. So what does this thing do?
So it's very similar to the Kelpie, but more vicious. But
Oh,
the Kelpie's weakness is its brittle. So if you can take, not brittle, but everything's a bird.
it's it's brittle and it's brittle.
If you can take a Kelpie's brittle or like put one on them, you control them.
Do you mean bridle? Like for a horse? You mean bridle?
It's a
Is that the
brittle.
word you were trying to say, Nadia? You
Shut
mean
up.
bridle?
That is not spelled like bridle. That is spelled brittle.
Pretty sure that's how you spell bridle.
I mean, also it's a bridle for a horse, but I've never heard that word before.
Yeah.
I'm not a
Okay.
horse
I mean,
girl.
yeah, that's fair. I am.
I think you are. The way you described looking into horses' eyes,
I actually used to ride horses.
horse girl.
I did like well, my dad did like western competitions and I learned how to ride.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad used to live on a farm, so he had a lot of
Oh my God, I
horses.
didn't know that.
Yeah. It's pretty
Hmm.
cool. Well, you're the one, well, I guess you weren't, but your brother was born in Texas.
Yeah. So immediately he's a horse. My mom is a horse girl.
That makes sense. I've
Oh,
met your mom.
does she
She's
seem like a
lovely
horse girl?
lady. But yeah, she has horse girl vibes.
She's that is so mean. Don't talk about my mom like that.
In the best possible
No,
way,
there's
she
no
has
good
horse
way
girl
to be a
vibes.
horse girl.
I'm sorry, horse girls, but you've heard it here
No.
first. There's no good way to be a horse girl.
But if you can bridle the horse, um, if you can bridle a Kelpie, you're fine. But they say for the Akishke, its weakness is iron. And
So like fairies,
I thought fairies were silver. Or is that vampires?
that's werewolves. Silver is werewolves. For the fae and fairies, it's iron.
What about vampires? It's also silver.
Uh, Garlic or a steak?
A stake, a silver stake through the heart.
Oh
Wait,
no.
if you play RuneScape, I feel like I'm exposing myself. Like this is worse than Twilight. But if you play RuneScape and you're doing like the quest where you have to fight the vampires, you have to have like a special stake. And or is it a sickle? And I can't remember what the material is made out of.
Maybe it is silver. I don't
It
know.
doesn't
Silver
matter.
seems to solve a lot of problems, and iron solves the rest.
Yeah. So it says its weakness is iron because there's this story where a blacksmith and his son got revenge on the Agishke for killing the blacksmith's daughter. And what they did is they made these like huge rods of iron and lured out the Akishke and killed it with these hot, huge hooks. Um,
Whoa.
but my criticism of this story is, wouldn't this kill anyone? Like at that point, you could say my weakness is iron. Like
Yeah,
I'm not sure if
you
it's the
know,
iron's fault or the fact that it was like a huge hook.
yeah, or like heated, and like
Yeah.
heated metal plus water equals evaporation, right? Like, I think you could have put anything
Oh,
hot
that's a
on
good point.
this horse,
Just
and it
evaporate
might
the horse.
evaporate. Yeah.
Um, but I think that might answer your question on what if you knifed the horse.
So I guess you could. You could knife the horse.
Unknown whether it's iron that does it. I feel like this experiment wasn't controlled. There were too many variables. Um,
Yeah,
because yeah, that would kill me.
that would kill you. I wonder if they tested anything else before they were just like giant flaming iron hooks.
I mean, in their defense, I don't think they were really testing it out. I think it was more like you killed my daughter,
Yeah,
prepared
yeah.
to
I
die.
mean, vengeance is the worst type of research,
I'm
and you can quote me on that.
gonna live my life to prove that wrong.
Okay, I believe in you.
Because I mean, isn't most like medical research about getting revenge on the disease? Like you know someone with the disease and you're like, fuck you, disease, and so you try to cure it.
I guess so. Maybe vengeance is good for research.
See how quickly you change your mind? Don't make
You know
such
what?
powerful
No, I'm
statements.
going back around. I'm going back around. You know what? I was right the first time. Vengeance is bad for science.
See, dear listeners, this is how you know that your narrator is unreliable because look how he keeps switching his perspective. So therefore I am
Nope, I'm stuck on it now.
um
Vengeance is bad for science.
no. I think vengeance is the motivator for science.
Well, I don't think it was particularly helpful in the case of what was this guy's name?
I don't know his name. His name is Blacksmith and Son Blacksmith.
Oh, well, Smith, Mr. Smith here. I don't think he was doing very good research while stabbing this beast to death.
But he did kill it, and apparently all that was left was goo.
Gross. Do you have any other cool stories about this Kelpie?
I do. So, back to the Kelpie. So the Akishke is its violent, harder to pronounce cousin. But
Mm-hmm.
the story with the adhesion begins with 9 Scottish children were lured onto the Kelpie's back, and so therefore they got stuck. And what are they going to do? Cut off their thighs? No. So
No.
there was a 10th child, and he started running away, but he stroked the Kelpie's nose, and when it got stuck, he cut off his finger. Um, and he cauterized the wound with wood from a nearby fire.
Isn't it like hard to do that though? Like
Cauterize
doesn't
a wound with fire?
well like with like a wood fire, right? Like what temperature does it need to be to cauterize a wound?
I have no
Miss
clue.
Med student.
I'm a pre-med student. I don't know what temperature to cauterize a wound. My question for this was he cauterized the wound with wood from a nearby fire. So I'm thinking like there's like a nice couple out on the beach and they made like a little fire and then out comes this child and he's like, I lost my finger to fight the Kelpie. Just
It took my 9 brothers and sisters.
yeah, let me just cauterize this wound. Um he's like sobbing. Um Are you looking up what temperature to cauterize a wound?
Yeah, it needs to be uh at least 932 degrees Fahrenheit.
Jesus. I don't think that fire was 932 degrees Fahrenheit.
I don't think wood even burns that hot.
It doesn't.
Wood burns at 842 degrees Fahrenheit.
But this child had conviction.
Okay, actually, wood can reach temperatures of 1,148. So you could theoretically cauterize a wound from fire with a wood, like a wood fire.
I feel like we're spreading
It would need to be
misinformation.
really hot, though. Anyway, so this kid cut his hand off
He
and
cut his
cauterized
finger
it.
off. Or maybe
His
his whole
finger
hand.
off.
Uh,
Well, it says in your notes hand.
Well,
Unlucky, though, you know?
I mean, compared to the other nine, I think it's fine.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what's more painful, drowning or getting your hand cut off and then cauterizing it yourself?
I mean, this child seems pretty baller.
It does seem pretty baller, um, but also very traumatized.
He was so ready, though. I feel like that's just a Scottish thing.
I mean, yeah, he's on top of it. You know, he had the wood ready. You know, he knew what to do to keep from bleeding out. Like,
Yeah, he
this
said
kid's on top of
cauterize the
it.
wound. Um, my favorite thing about this story is that since it was nine children, the Kelpie just kept stretching its behind, and I love the image of that.
Well, maybe it's just a very long horse to begin with.
Okay, but what long horse can fit nine children?
How big are the children?
Nine.
9. Um, I mean, yeah, I like the image of it stretching out to accommodate more children. Like one child gets up on there and he's like, "You should come up too," and then the horse gets a little bit longer,
No, that's a good point.
and then
Like
they
when the
keep doing
first
that.
child got on, wasn't he like, wait, fuck, I'm stuck?
Maybe he was having too much fun riding the horse,
Yeah.
and he just kept inviting people like friends up there.
Yeah, but those nine Scottish children drowned.
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah. So would you
That's
rather
rough for
drown
them.
or cut off your hand?
Honestly, drowning seems like one of the worst ways to go, so I'll cut off my hand.
That is so true. Drowning would be so scary.
Yeah, right? Any kind of
Wow.
asphyxiation just sounds
Oh
awful.
my God, yeah. Slow death.
Slow death, bad death, lungs hurt.
That would be so baller. Like, if you could, like the story you could tell people, yeah, I was getting stuck, but I cut off my own hand and cauterized it.
Yeah, it's like that guy from 148 Hours or whatever it's
Yeah, yeah,
called,
yeah.
who cut off his hand because he got it stuck in a rock.
Oh,
That's rough.
yeah. Ah, the bone. Ah, ah. That's
Yeah,
why, what if it was just the finger? Like, I think it might have just been the finger.
I think a finger is doable. Yeah, and that like in the story of that guy who got his hand stuck in the rock, it was like he broke his arm before he
But,
cut through it so that he wouldn't have to cut through the bone. Which is like crazy.
oh,
Yeah,
I
kind of
hate
yucky.
that. I hate that.
Um. Anyway, got any lighter stories about the Kelpie?
Oh my God, I do actually. This one was really cute. There was a folk tale that tells of a lonely Kelpie. that transformed itself into a handsome young man to woo a pretty young girl it was determined to take for its wife. Um, but the girl recognized the young man as a Kelpie and removed his silver necklace, which was his bridle, while he slept.
Huh?
So the Kelpie immediately reverted to its horse form, and the girl took it home to her father's farm, where it was put to work for a year.
Oh my god.
And then, but that's not the end of the story. At the end of that time, at the end of a year, the girl rode the Kelpie to consult a wise man. I was like, what? Like, okay. Who told her to return the silver necklace. The wise man then asked the Kelpie, once again transformed into the handsome young man, whether, if given the choice, it would choose to be a Kelpie or a mortal. The Kelpie then asked the girl whether, if he were a man, she would agree to be his wife. She confirmed that she would. So this thing had been a horse for a year. She rode it to the wise old man. He'd been a horse for a year, and she said she would marry him. So the Kelpie chooses to stay immortal, and they become married.
Well, I mean, he's got a good work ethic.
She enslaved him for a year. Like, I understand being lonely,
Sometimes,
but like,
sometimes you gotta work for it, you know what I mean? Like, this is Scottish dating.
I hate when I bring a boy home and my dad's like, work for me in my stables for a year and have my daughter ride you around.
Yeah, you gotta plow the fields before you can plow the
Uh,
fields, you know what I mean?
I'm quitting. Goodbye. I thought you were gonna make a joke about riding.
That one's too, like.
Too obvious.
Hmm.
But you could say that this was the OG horse girl.
This, you know what? This is the OG horse girl.
I cannot get over the fact that she put him to work for a year and then rode him to the wise man's house.
And the wise man was like, so, this could be a guy, and you could get married to him.
I don't like did they talk when he was a horse? Like what rekindled that romance? Like what continued that connection?
They say if you truly know a horse, you can feel its energies, its thoughts. Okay, horses are God's most beautiful creatures.
Jail.
Jail? Are you
Jail.
putting me in jail?
I just want people to just listen to what you're saying. Horses are
Horses are
God's
God's
most
most beautiful
beautiful
creatures.
creatures. If you really just touch them in the right place, you can really understand.
Oh my god. No.
That's what
This
you
is a
sound like
wholesome
to
this is
me.
a wholesome wholesome um no, that's a different thing.
Awesome.
That's
Yeah.
when there's three people in a horse. I was more imagining like that beautiful moment in every like horse girl movie where they put the hand on the horse's snout
Oh my
and
God, yeah.
they're bonded.
And they're like, sunshine, I won't need to sell the farm anymore.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happened. They needed a horse to work the farm so they wouldn't have to sell it.
She married it.
And she
Um,
married him.
I was thinking more of like when My Little Pony went bad.
Oh, I haven't seen the show.
I
What
haven't
happened?
either. You don't, no, not like the show became bad. I mean, what people did to it.
Oh, yeah. That's it's a corner of the internet I do not like to know exists.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you have to know.
Sometimes you come across a horse that's wet and sucks, and you put it to work at your dad's farm, and you just really build that connection. And you go talk
Yeah.
to the wise man after a year. Like, you couldn't talk to him, like, before this?
Well, I mean, like, see, she was in a place where she could take the silver necklace. Um, so like I'm assuming they had some kind of relationship before this.
He was sleeping.
Yeah, I mean, Look, all I'm saying is that like she may have slept with this guy and then was like, "All right, I'm dipping," and stole his necklace. And then
But
she was
then,
like, "Why is this horse following me?"
but oh, that's a good point.
Yeah,
But in the end, she became his bride. Oh,
yeah.
do you like my joke?
She became his bridal. Yeah,
Yeah. Do you get it, bride? Oh, bride because they married bride. Oh.
yeah. No, I got it. I pieced it together. Normally, it's me doing that on this show, and it's really, I don't know, gratifying to have that role reversal. You know what I mean?
Is it gratifying? I'm glad.
Like being on the other end of it and knowing that it does suck.
You're like, I'm glad I caused pain.
Yeah. So cool. A little nice little marriage story. Um and do you have one more story for me or not this one? You said in the notes.
I don't think it's not actually that cool. It's just that there's like I don't know what a laird is, but actually I do know. It's like a landowner. I looked it up. But
Mhm.
it's a pretty common story that, according to websites I read, that the Laird of Morphy, like his family went extinct because he captured the Kelpie and put it to work building his castle. And the Kelpie wasn't
Oh,
fucking sexually involved with him. So after a year, when he was released, the Kelpie cursed the Laird and led to the extinction of the family.
wow.
So
That's dark.
So it's not always great to capture the Kelpie,
Yeah, don't do that. And I mean,
but
if you're going to, at least sleep with the
fuck it.
cursed. I guess that's what we've learned. But yeah, that's kind of fucked up. Anyway, yeah, Laird, if you say it with like a Scottish accent, what does it sound like?
Laird,
A lard.
Lord, the
Lard.
Lord of
Lord.
Murphy,
The Lord. It's just it's another one of those spelling things that Scottish people do.
Lord of Murphy. Oh, I'm proud of that one.
Yeah, you see? You see what I mean?
The Lord of Murphy captured the Kelpie. No, I lost it. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
you did
Scotland.
lose it. You lost it halfway through that sentence. What's the over under on me fighting this cryptid?
Over under. Well, I wouldn't shoot it.
I, you know, I can't. I've made a vow to fight when I fight cryptids that it should be on equal footing.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like the only thing I could really bring to a Kelpie fight is a roll of tape.
To adhere the Kelpie?
Well, it's got adhesion, so why shouldn't I have adhesion?
Oh my God. But then wouldn't if you adhere the Kelpie, then it will still drag you.
Here's my plan though. I wrap my hand in duct tape with the tape part sticking out.
But then either way, if you get the Kelpie stuck to you, you're still stuck to the Kelpie.
Okay, but if the tape gets stuck to the Kelpie and I can't move it, duct tape glove comes right off.
Oh,
But on the other hand, I have duct tape gloves to steal this thing's bridle.
oh,
Mm-hmm. It's my new this is my new crime product.
tape.
Duct tape gloves.
Apparently, it also has magical powers that can summon a flood to drown people. I don't think that's true.
Whoa.
I think
That
that's
seems
too
unfair.
much. I feel like he is powerful on his own that he doesn't need that.
Well, I mean, if you're like a mile from a lake, it's like I don't want to walk all the way to the lake. Let me just summon a flood. Drown this guy stuck to me,
Oh, that's a good
you
point.
know?
But like, why would
Yeah.
he be so far from it? Oh, because he's fucking neighbor.
Yeah, or work in a field or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I think we learned a lot about Kelpies, their sexual escapades, and their malice.
If you meet beautiful woman by or man or bird by the shore
Hmm.
and it's wet and it
Or just a
sucks,
horse.
or a horse that's really wet and sucks, just don't go near it.
Yeah, if something's like wet and it sucks, leave it alone, dude.
Oh, yeah. Don't touch it. Don't touch it before it's asked to be touched.
Mm-hmm. And even then, maybe don't touch it. It's wet, and that sucks.
Oh my God. But if it does want to be touched, you can put it to work in your field for a year, and apparently it'll still like you afterwards.
Yeah, I'll get married to you.
Yeah,
Free
let's try.
husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, free. I mean, it cost a silver necklace, but
What would the children be like?
I feel like they'd still be wet, but they wouldn't suck as
Oh,
much.
oh. So they wouldn't be adhesive. That would be a horrible birth.
Yeah. Can we talk? Let's not. I'm not gonna talk about Kelpie reproduction. Like, that would suck.
Ah, yeah, in multiple ways.
Yeah. Alright. I think that's gonna be it for the podcast this week. Thank you guys so much for listening. Um, the scripted sucks.
I love it. I love it.
I think the scripted is awesome, but it's uh yeah. Tell me final thoughts on the Kelpie.
I'm not a horse girl, but I like this horse.
Okay. I am a horse girl and I approve this message.
Oh God.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. If you want more of this content, you can follow us on iTunes, Spotify, and if you could leave a review, that would be so helpful for us improving the podcast and getting our name out there. Um, so if you want more content, again, you can follow us on Twitter. Um, I stream on Twitch and I do YouTube content on martistonfire.com where you can
Woo.
find links to all of that stuff. And of course, I'll leave those links in the description of this episode as well. Until next week,
We'll
we'll
see
see
you in
y'all
the
in the
woods.
woods.
Damn it.
You'll get it.